got your phone there.
Mhm.
Interesting. See
Oh,
if the
there we go.
notification goes up. Hmm, cool.
Get set and ready.
We'll just wait and see if anybody shows up. We're live. We're probably live 30 seconds before you actually saw this, but see if anybody shows up.
Probably, yeah.
Hey, there's
Oh,
somebody.
wow, Kate actually showed up.
Hey, pocket full of reptiles. How you doing? Uh, oh, look, we got more people. I'm totally gonna pronounce this wrong. Uh, Go ahead, Holly. You shoot.
Tavian's World of Reptiles.
I
Did I
would
get it
guess
right?
Tavians too. What's up, guys? There's about a 30-second delay from when we talk to when it shows up on the video. Just an FYI for everybody. Oh, people showing
Interesting.
up. So we thought we would. Hey, TJ, how you doing? We thought we'd just open this up for kind of like a Q&A for a little bit. This is our first time running a live stream, so we'll see how long we're running it through our Canon DSL, um, and we'll see how long the battery lasts. Hey, we got the
That should
name
be
right.
pretty good.
Like I said, it's
Yay.
about a 30-second delay from when we talk to when you guys actually hear it. So we'll see your comments about 30 seconds before we actually reply to them. So go ahead and shoot out questions if you guys got them. We'll answer whatever. I mean, as long as it's not, too personal. That might be a little odd, but other than that, you can get semi-personal.
Until then, where's everybody from? Until we can
That's
see
a
a
good
question.
question.
Where's everybody from?
Yeah, where is everybody from? We're from Maryland. Just got done feeding snakes. Literally like 2 minutes before we ran up here to
Who's
start this live stream, Holly was
who's
still
running?
finishing up feeding the snakes, all the ball pythons,
And
and
our one
the
blood.
blood python. So how are we doing live? So we're doing live. We're using our Canon EOS M50. Yeah, like the
Right.
creator's kit. And then we just have a USB to the computer. And then from the computer, we're running. We paid for Sparko Cam, which allows you to kind of stream your computer, your camera straight to a computer, and then we go from Sparko Cam to OBS Studio, and then OBS Studio streams into YouTube. So it is a hodgepodge of pieces to make this work. But the only thing we had to pay for was the Sparko Cam. Everything else was free. OBS is free.
Yeah,
We already had.
otherwise you would just see Sparko Cam
Yeah,
right
it's like
here.
huge right across
So
it.
we paid
Um,
for it, and now we can use it anytime we do a live stream. Which hopefully, I'm hoping we can do some live streams when we get some actual clutches. I'd like to do a live stream of maybe either cutting
or
you
pulling.
know,
Yeah,
or
that'd be
yeah,
cool.
pulling. Because I'm the only one that seems to get bit, so maybe I'll be the one that pulls, and then
Yeah.
you
So
can see me get bit.
two people from Indiana, huh?
Oh,
Interesting.
nice. Do you guys go to Tinley at all? Since you guys are a lot closer,
That's good.
hopefully.
Yeah, there. Yeah, we go to Tinley both spring and fall. So
Hmm.
if you guys are ever going, we'll be there. We drive all the way from Maryland. It's a hike, real hike. What else? Oh, first live stream's totally awkward. It's going to be awkward. No idea what to talk about. Just giving you guys a heads up.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk and see if anybody, um, what everybody's doing. If you guys are actually breeders, or if you just do it as a hobby, or what animals you actually keep. Kind of wanted to just chat about, get to know each other. Because normally we just see comments and stuff, and I'd like to actually talk to people.
The, the Clarksville Reptile Expo. I don't know where that's at. I'm not familiar with like much outside of Maryland.
Clarksville. I'm assuming Clarksville, Indiana.
Maybe,
Clarksville.
maybe. Oh, Pocket, if you I'm gonna nickname everybody now. You're Pocket now. Pocket, if you're do end up go to Tinley, just let us know. We can meet you there. Does it count towards your watching hours on YouTube, even though it's through a different program?
I don't
Well, it
know.
is still streamed through YouTube. I don't know. I really don't know. Um, it's one of those things where we don't do the YouTube stuff to make money. So I know there's that like however many hours and 1,000 subs before you can monetize your videos. We don't really care. If we never get to 1,000 subs, I care more about quality people than quantity. Um, so if not, it's no biggie to us.
But does it? Like, does it count towards watchability
I don't
time?
know.
Like,
I have no
oh,
idea.
okay. I have no idea, so I
No
wasn't
idea.
sure.
What all snakes do you have and how many? Ball pythons, leopard. Okay. So we have for snakes, we have ball pythons. We have 47 right now, I think.
Hmm.
47-ish.
Yep.
Somewhere close to that. We also have a blood python.
Hmm.
We
That's brand
have
new that we're starting to
yep.
get into.
Yep.
So
And
one,
we have
a male.
a GTP.
Hmm.
Yep. And then we have I don't know,
Well, we have 8 female and 3 female breeder crested geckos,
8
but
female and 3 male.
I'm sorry. Did I say female
You
twice?
did.
I'm
You
so
did.
sorry.
Make sure you
Okay,
stay in
so
frame too.
and 3 male crested gecko breeders, and then they decided to explode to over 60 last season. So we sold some of them. So we're down more, but
Yeah.
we're down a
We've
good amount. But
we've got. I mean, if you minus the ones we've sold, we've got about 55 more to sell. Cresty gecko babies, give or take. And then we have poison dart
hmm
frogs, which we don't breed, but we have poison dart frogs. We have 2 leopard geckos as well, not breeders, just as pets.
hmm
And a cat who's probably going to meow at some point in this video as he's chilling under our feet right
is he
now.
really?
Yeah,
He's still
he's
here.
just
Oh,
chilling
okay.
over there. Uh, let's see, TJ, going back to doing videos this week after next Sunday. Cool. Yeah, I saw
Oh,
that you were taking a
yay!
little break, TJ. So it'll be good to see you come back and doing videos. So Pocket, I see you have listed there ball pythons, leopard
Oh, we have
geckos,
tokay.
and tokay. Do you breed all those? You just keep them as pets? What do you do? Don't mind me grabbing a drink of water. By the way, I know all you guys are typically watching our videos and commenting. I really appreciate it. We're not doing the videos to make money, as you know, because we can't, with less than 1,000 subscribers. So we appreciate you all taking the time to watch our videos. Uh, you know, it's nice. Like to be, help the community. If you ever have questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to us through comments on YouTube. We have Instagram, Facebook.
Hmm.
We have a website you can go to, and there's a contact page on that. Morph Market, you can go there and just send a message. If you ever have any questions or just want to chit chat, don't feel free to send us something. We're open here to help. TJ, you got 2 ball pythons. Was that a Nicaraguan boa, 4 leopard geckos, a California king snake,
Ooh,
a bearded dragon, and a veiled chameleon? Wow, you've got a lot,
nice.
man. Cool. You can show those more in your videos. I know you do a lot of like videos where you're trying to tell people how to do stuff, but it'd be cool to see your animals too. I know you're moving into your new area soon, so congrats on that as well. See, I watch videos. I might
So,
not comment on them all, but I try to watch. I try to watch as many as I can. It's tough. There's so many people in the community. I've only got so many hours in a day. We both work full-time jobs on top of running a business with, we just told you, over 100 animals. So it's tough to find time to watch everybody's YouTube videos. I mean, I try to watch as many as I can, but it's difficult. There's so many people, so many good people too, like good
and you
good
want to give it
channels
your
out there.
attention because we both work in an office, so of course you can just have the playback going, but we want to actually pay attention and give you guys the attention that, you deserve. So
Yeah,
it's tough.
very tough, very tough. So I think Holly asked, but I didn't see anybody reply. Is anybody breeding anything themselves? If so, how's your breeding season go? For us, for our bull python season, it is a slow, slow start this year. Like
Hmm.
real slow. We have not gotten our first clutch yet, but we have 3 ovulations, so clutches are coming. Unfortunately, of all the ones that we wanted to go, the ones you really want to go, of course, aren't the ones that are probably going to
Yeah.
go this year. We have two albinos that are probably going to go this year. Two albino females.
And they're probably going to give us heads. I don't think that the one
Yeah,
other albino
we'll
took with them.
we'll
So
see. Our albino, our Tolfino male that we wanted to breed to them this year was decided he wasn't going to lock until like right before the second one ovulated. So maybe there's a chance that he got in on the second albino. So we'll get some Tolfinos out of that and albinos. But since he decided not to lock, we put our pod to it so we could get double hets and work towards albino pods. But it was not exactly going as planned and slow, way way slow. Like last year, we had our clutch by now, so it's so surprising how late
did
it is.
did we? Because
Yeah, I think so.
they hatched in September, and that's 55 days prior, so it was July.
Oh, so maybe it was a little
So
later.
that's when she laid.
Yeah.
And how long is it again that before they lay? I always mix it. Like I have my list, and then I'm like, so it's 55 from lay to hatch. What is it from ovulation to
I have it all written
pre-lay?
down, so
Oh,
I don't even remember it in my head.
I know that's what I'm trying to do. Is that charts and notebooks,
Yeah, man.
spreadsheets, and that we keep track of everything.
Cool, TJ. I see that you're gonna do some videos with your animals July and August. That's good.
Hmm.
Yep, very good. Tavon, 16 snakes. What kind of snakes? Are they all ball pythons? And then three tarantulas and two lizards. And what
Oh, you
kind
have
of
tarantulas.
what kind of lizards? Listen, I appreciate y'all spider people, but I'm arachnophobic, so I
That's
avoid them.
very true.
Every time we go to a reptile show, I have to avoid the tables with tarantulas so I don't scream and run like a little girl. Not to be offensive to little girls, but that's what I would sound like, a high pitched little girl screaming and running. I am terrified of spiders. I'll go down and pick up a snake, no problem. Spiders, nope, can't do it. Just can't do it.
But you're a trooper though, because anytime we run into Bill from BC Pythons, he shows off his tarantulas and
I try. We have a friend
he's
who got a tarantula, and I was brave enough to walk up to the cage and look at it just to try to be nice, because whew, that was difficult for me though. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, let me go look at your tarantula. Ooh, not my
I
thing.
think it depends. I'm not worried about spiders.
Yeah.
I think it depends on if I mean, I don't know them very well. Like I don't know species and things like that, so I'm not sure which ones are not so good
I think
and
the
which
Latin
ones
name
are.
of all spiders are Tarantula scarius
So,
because that's how I feel when I see them.
no, I actually want to hold a tarantula one day because we just don't get to. We don't get that opportunity, but I'd be afraid I'm like this too, just because I don't
Shaking.
want to drop
You
it
say this,
either.
but nobody can see your
Oh,
hand
sorry,
shaking
like
off
this.
camera.
I just don't want to drop them.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Oh, that's good. Those are two good topics to do videos on, quarantine and acclimation, TJ. Really
Oh,
good. Yeah,
yes.
really good. We do very strict quarantine process
Hmm.
for our animals. Extremely strict. All of our animals go through prevenamite just to be safe. Even if we don't find any mites on them, we do a full prevenamite treatment for 30 days. And then normally at least 60 days before they really get added to the collection, just
Hmm.
to make sure we don't see any RIs or anything else going on.
Yep.
Yes, TJ, arachnophobic, extremely, extremely. And I can tell myself realistically that it is a not rational fear at all, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If one crawls on me, I lose it. The other day, there was one in Holly's car, and I was in the passenger seat, and it came down like the side window on the
Oh,
passenger
I
side,
remember that
and I
one.
almost jumped through the driver's side door over Holly.
Yeah.
That's how much I am terrified of spiders.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, you say irrational fear. I mean, they can actually, certain ones can actually do some damage. But we have a friend and we love her to death, but she's actually afraid of cats. So when she comes over, she avoids our cat
oh yeah, she'll scream in terror
completely.
from our cat.
Hmm.
Like if he walks up behind her and rubs her,
Oh my
she
gosh,
loses
yes.
it. Loses it.
I can't watch my cat lives here. I don't watch what he does. He does whatever he wants to do. And sometimes she'll, her daughter will call or whatever, and yeah, she's had some issues.
Yeah.
Same with our other friends who have cats. She's screamed a couple times. I feel bad for her, but we do pick on her in a loving way too. So,
Yeah, TJ, I haven't seen Bill in a while. We see him every time we go to Tinley, but
hmm.
he hasn't done many videos recently. So probably really busy, just like everybody else. It happens.
Do you know if he's still making racks?
I think so, as far as I
Okay.
know.
Okay. Because I don't think I asked him that in March when we saw him.
Tavon. So 4 boas, a carpet python. Oh, carpet pythons are gorgeous. We were just talking about them recently.
Yes.
A retic. We have debated. We'd love to do outreach programs stuff for the community, and we've debated doing that. And I thought about if we're going to do something like that, you really should have that one big snake. So we've talked about getting a retic, but I don't. I we haven't made that leap yet. So
That's really
a
cool,
rosy
though.
boa, a corn snake, a blood python.
Ooh, alligator lizard.
So how
Love
big?
those.
Out of curiosity, how big is your retic? 2 ball pythons, a tiger rat, a Brazilian. Wow, you got a plethora of stuff. Just a little bit of everything.
I'm listening
Yeah.
to you because it just cuts off a little bit right there with the
Oh,
camera.
hey, I'm not
So,
the only one who's arachnophobic. I see that. Yes. Oh, you got your tarantulas to help overcome that. Yeah,
oh,
I.
that's cool.
That's not how I'm going to overcome it. No, it's just not going to happen. There's no chance. No, no. Good for you. Not going to be for me. No. Oh, an alligator lizard. Very cool.
Mm,
Very cool. They look pretty awesome. We thought about doing abronias at some point, breeding them, but
mm-hmm,
we've got so many other projects like the blood python and the GTP. Kinda that we got them as the preliminary. Let's keep them for a little bit. Let's see how it goes, and maybe that'll be the next thing we breed. Or I'd really love to breed
mm-hmm.
GTPs, but they are very temperamental, very
And delicate. Mm-hmm.
delicate. That's a good word for them. We bought a U.S. captive born bred one, so a little bit more hardy than wild caught, but they're still very temperamental, and I, I want to breed them. I love GTPs. I think to me they're probably one of the best looking snakes out there. I know ball pythons have so many morphs, but just a GTP hanging on its branch,
Mm-hmm.
is just it looks so amazing. Um, and yeah, I would love to breed them, but we'll see. We'll see if we get there. They when they hatch to breeding is for females 4 years. So we buy even if we bought females. Well, you can't even tell if they're females as babies. Even if we bought babies now and bought enough that we're like, okay, hopefully we hit some females in the male to female ratio. It's still 4 years until we could attempt to breed the
Mm-hmm.
first one, and they're much harder to get breeding. You've got to use rain boxes, and yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Let's see. So your retic is 3 years old and 3.5 feet. It was slow grower. It's okay. It's all right. That was slow growing. We have a couple snakes that are slow growing. Mainland. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's retics would be an interesting thing for us. I've thought about it, but just haven't pulled that trigger yet. Plus, we did the expansion to the reptile area, but we've almost filled it up already. So in our ball python collection, we really want to expand a lot more than it is. So it's already figuring out what we're going to do. We got one room kind of dedicated to incubators and shipping supplies and all the other supplies and stuff you need for reptiles bedding and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. Shipping takes up a lot of space. And then we have one room right now that's dedicated to the crested geckos. They take up almost that entire room. And then the ball pythons have our third room. They take up almost all that room. So we can start cramming stuff in there. But the real challenge is we put in mini split systems. So, it's got hot air blowing across the room. So figuring out where we can put racks where it's not going to get hot air from the mini split blowing right on it is a real tough thing to figure out for us. So eh,
It's all a learning curve too because it's a huge leap to go from pet owner to breeder.
it
You know what I
is.
mean? And then so trying to figure out that room. Kind of piggyback, kind of that sounds like I'm going off on another topic, but to definitely figure out what to optimize is the biggest thing because we don't have a ton of space. I mean, we do have pretty big size,
Yeah,
especially compared to what we used to have. I mean, we used to have what was it like a 10 by 10, maybe a little bit bigger
10 by
room,
12 room
10 by 12
maybe. That
room,
was tough.
one of our bedrooms,
That was
spare
tough.
bedrooms.
Yeah, that was everything was crammed, like really crammed in there. So that
Hmm.
was that was tough. I mean, I think we have space. Excuse me. We have space if we need it, but it's not it's not as ample space as would be optimal.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, just the business side. There's a lot to it, a lot more than you would think. And you know, I it's interesting because I've kept exotics my entire life. Um, I started with exotics. Well, it depends how exotic you want to call exotics. Um, my first reptile I didn't get until I was like 12, but that's because I wasn't allowed to have reptiles. But I mean, I've had saltwater aquariums, I've had ferrets, I've had more common stuff like hamsters and guinea pigs and rabbits. I had 23 hamsters at one time. That's a whole other story for another day. But that got a little crazy. Yeah, it's we've had a lot of stuff. Let's see. Let's take a look at the comments real
Yeah.
quick. Tavon, I'd like to get in breeding, but torn, but
Tavian.
Tavian. I'm gonna get it wrong. I apologize. Listen, my name's Daryl, and I get Darnell and Darrell and all kinds of weird
Darrell a
stuff.
lot.
So I get it. Get into breeding. I'm torn between breeding African house snakes or some species of water snakes.
Ooh, water
So what I would say, if you want some advice, is pick the one that you like the most. Maybe that's why you can't decide between them because you like them
snakes.
equally.
Yeah.
But for me, I have always been a collector of things, all kinds of different things, and
Yes.
the morphs on ball pythons really drew me to them. And excuse me again, and just the combinations and learning the genetics. I was always big into biology in school. I loved biology. Um, so the genetics of ball pythons really intrigued me, and that's kind of why we went down that route first. Is because they were the most interesting to me. Maybe not. Again, I find GTPs probably to be the best looking personally. Again, all opinion based. But the ball pythons really just they had that little bit of like people we call them collections, right? Even though we're not collecting animals, people call them collections. And the ability to play around with genetics really interested me. So that's why we went that route first. And crested geckos we did honestly because they're super cute. I mean, honestly, if you look at a
Yeah.
crested gecko face with their big giant eyelashes and their big head and the fact that they always look like they're smiling, they're like the cutest lizard
They're
ever.
actually they're really cute. When we play around with the little ones are just hyperactive. I mean, they're all kind of, derpy as they say, so they all get ridiculous, but the little ones are just super hard to handle because obviously you don't want to crush them, but they're just so crazy. But when you get out our breeders and they're full 40 grams, full size in your
Plus,
hand, and you're looking at them, and sometimes they'll climb and they'll get in your hair or they'll just kind of sit there on you and lick you. I know that sounds so weird, but they'll lick you and they're really adorable.
they are.
They're
They're
really
crazy
adorable.
adorable.
We actually debated even stopping them because we weren't one, they exploded. Like the whole like
Exploded. That's maybe not a good word.
the
They
whole
bred
they bred so
prolifically.
much. The whole, clutch every other what month,
It used to
every
be
two
clutch
months or
every
whatever.
month,
It
every
was
45
it was
days.
literally like every month, and it was a lot compared to
Yeah.
what we were expecting because they were all first year breeders. I
Yeah,
think that was the big thing.
and
Is
we were surprised at how long the Cresties retain sperm. You know, we looked that up.
my gosh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we looked that up before we started breeding, and it was like, you know, a couple months, two, three. We were getting clutches 6 months after we stopped putting males in.
Yes.
So they retain sperm, some of them, for a half a year. So that is crazy. I mean,
Yep.
to think how long that is.
If you remember, or even saw our room tour downstairs when we actually finished the reptile area, and that was what, October, maybe
Yeah.
October 2018, and we just got eggs. We kept getting eggs in like January of this year, and the we had stopped breeding over the summer, so it
Yeah.
was like, first of all, we thought the move
Oh,
would kind of. Oh, I'm so sorry.
shaking the camera.
I thought the move would stop it as it was, because it's a little bit stressful sometimes, just
Yeah.
change. But yeah, getting eggs much further out than we expected really
Ended up with a lot more
ended
animals
up with
than
a
we
lot
thought we
more.
were
And
going
so
to
we
get.
were thinking, can we keep up with this and all the ball pythons we want to do and expand? Because, we were talking already about what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we were like, is this going to be, efficient for us? Is this going to be not worth? I hate to say worth
No,
because they're
worth
all worth it.
is a
Like
terrible
like I
word.
love all the animals. I just mean like, is the time? Can I give them the proper care?
Yes.
You know,
I mean, and it's weird. You wouldn't maybe think so, but crested geckos are far more work than the ball pythons are. Far more work. Ball pythons, you feed them once a week. For us, it's once a week. The little ones, anything that's a weaned or smaller, we feed. No, below
smaller
weaned,
than a weed.
smaller than a weaned. Sorry. Eating smaller than a weaned, we feed 3 times every 2 weeks until they get to wean, and then we switch to once a week. So you're only feeding them once a week, checking their water every day, but really, changing it every 2 to 3 days, give or take. And then cleaning up when they urinate and defecate, which can be days, a week in between.
Mm-hmm.
So you only doing something
Yep.
with them 2 days a week, really, other
Yeah.
than other than checking them, of course. But that's open a tub because we keep them rack systems. Open a tub and close it, and you're done. Versus the Cresties, it's the same amount of water, but you're feeding every other day. They need cleaned far more often. They're a lot more work to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is crazy that we just saw your comment. It is crazy that they hold the sperm that long. It is absolutely insane. And nothing I read online, like I read it, we try to do a research, not try. Holly says I do way too much research before we start something. I do a lot of research. Um,
That's
Research did
everything.
not say 6 months. It was much less than that for anything I could find. And sure, after it happened and I started looking up like how long, then some people were like, "Oh, it can be as long as." But when you're just looking on average, how long do they retain? Nobody said 6 months on average, and almost all of ours were 5 to 6 months basically after we
Mm-hmm.
stopped breeding them. That we were still getting clutches.
Mm-hmm.
So it ended up that we were breeding for like 5 months, hoping to get like 6 to 7 months worth of clutches, and instead we bred for 5 months and got like 13 months worth of clutches, which was I don't like the fact that they were laying eggs that long. I would want them to
Oh, for
have a
their
break.
calcium and everything too.
Yep,
Yep.
and that's when we were watching their calcium sacs, and we're like, you know what, we want to stop breeding because we want their calcium sacs to rebuild back up. If you guys aren't aware, they have calcium sacs up in the roof of their mouth, 2 of them. So we're checking that, feeding extra calcium to the females anyway, but just making sure that they had the calcium, and the calcium sacs started getting a little smaller. We're like, okay, stop breeding, give them a break, let them rebuild up their calcium, and they just kept laying eggs. And it was getting a
Mm-hmm.
little concerning for their
Well,
calcium
and
levels,
that's
but
the other thing is, okay, so you get infertils after, before and after, so you
yeah,
know that they're ready or they're breeding size or whatever. So we've had infertile since then too. So we're like, okay, we know that they're done. But when we would candle them, some of the ones that looked very good, that embryo was so tiny. But we were like, we have to give it a chance. You got to give it a chance. And they
yes,
survived.
yeah.
Like most of them survived. I mean, again, it was at the very end, and unfortunately, you do everything you're supposed to do, and you do everything that you've done for everybody else, and sometimes they don't even develop.
Yeah, we
So,
had a really good hatch rate with
but
the
yeah.
Cresties, though. Oh, TJ, I see you're leaving.
Oh, have a good
Catch you later,
night.
TJ. Yeah, we had a really good hatch rate for our Cresties. We didn't have that many eggs that didn't go full term and provide a baby, so it was kind of nice. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they went way longer than expected. Thankfully, all of our females now they've been not laying
Yeah.
for. I think our last lay was January or February. Last one's laid eggs, which was later than we wanted to,
That
but
actual like that had an embryo because we've had
yeah,
some
yeah. I
infertils in the
think
past few
January,
months,
February we
but
had like
mhm,
a one. But all the females have rebuilt up their calcium sacs and are looking great now. So it was
yeah.
getting like concerning a little bit, but we stopped as soon as we saw them. So yeah. What about non-animal stuff? What do you guys do outside of reptiles, if anything? I have ridiculous amounts of hobbies outside of reptiles. Um, so what do you guys do outside of reptiles? I ride Holly actually. But Holly and I ride motorcycles. She rides her own motorcycle. That's an interesting story. When I first got my first motorcycle,
It's not that interesting.
10 years ago, 11 years ago, I got my first one, maybe 12. Jeez, it's been a while. Yeah,
First one since you were a teenager.
since I was
Yes,
yes. So when I first got my real started riding, really started riding.
you really like.
12 years ago, Holly's like, I'm not even gonna get on the back of that thing. No way, not gonna do it. And then I convinced her to get on the back, and she liked riding so much that she was trying to get me to ride when it was way too cold out because of course being behind me meant that she wasn't
Yeah.
in the cold wind and I was in the freaking cold wind that's just like frigid shaking up front, and she's like, let's go for a ride, it's only 40 degrees outside, and I'm like, let's not. And then eventually she got tired of riding behind me and got her own license and got her own bike, so
I did.
which is nice. I'll tell you, riding without somebody behind you is actually a lot nicer. So yeah, so
Wow, it was
bikes.
only like 10 to 12 years ago because I've had my first bike and then my license since 2011. So
Yeah,
it's been 8 years. So it really wasn't that long after you got yours
no,
that
it wasn't too
I
long.
got mine. So
You longboard. That's cool.
oh, nice. Wait, is longboarding?
It's like
That's not the
the
same as paddleboarding, is
no, that
it?
longboard's like the
The
long skateboard. I
the
think.
long.
I think I'm. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the longboard is the really long skateboard. I think. We'll see if I'm right. Yes, she did get really enthusiastic about riding the motorcycles. Like too much for me for a little bit.
I'm so fickle when it comes to all kinds like because I kind of backpack or back piggyback off of your hobbies and then I'm like, man, I'm tired of this. But then I'm not. Like then it pops right back. So it's like you keep me more enthusiastic about this stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and that
oh,
long
okay, long
skateboard. Yeah, that's
skateboard.
right.
So you can do like tricks and stuff?
I don't. I've never seen tricks on a
No?
longboard. I haven't. Maybe you
I'm sure they
can.
exist.
It's you're outside of one
I'm
of my
probably
hobbies.
wrong. Because I don't
Um,
know. That's pretty cool though.
but yeah, oh, well, hobbies. So motorcycles, right? Then we play paintball, which we haven't played in a while, but I still got all my gear. So paintball, whole bunch of geeky stuff. If you can't tell, I have on a Dungeons and Dragons T-shirt. So
Oh yeah, I have
lots,
a Star Trek
yeah, Star
t-shirt
Trek,
on.
lots of geeky stuff, games, and yeah. Uh, let's see, other hobbies outside of that. We used to both snowboard. We got rid of our snowboards recently because age happens, and you got to not do things that'll break bones anymore. Look at her side eyeing me. I saw that. So we got rid of our
You're
snowboard
older
stuff,
than
but we
me,
used to
that's why.
snowboard. RC cars. Uh,
That's him.
yeah,
That's
Holly
more
doesn't do
him.
that, but RC cars,
Nope.
remote control. Used to do gas, but now just electric. Still just as fast. I mean, when you have RC cars that are going 60 miles an hour, it's still quick. What else? We've kayaks. We kayak. Bicycles. Ride bicycles. They're not
We
as
haven't done
fast.
that one
They're
in
not
a
as
while,
fast as
but
the
yeah.
motorcycles. That's for sure.
No.
Other things.
I haven't done it in a really long time, but I like to paint and draw
Hmm,
and
yeah, not something that I can do.
you know,
Um,
anybody can be an artist. So,
Getting back into backpacking, hiking, that kind of stuff. We do a lot of. Used to do a ton of camping. We've cut that back, but we're probably going to be start doing camping again now that we got the motorcycles. See, no, not on a longboard. I
oh,
was
oh,
right.
okay.
I didn't think there was a lot of people who did. Um,
Hey, Doctor Who.
there we go.
I've not watched much. I watched 9 and that was like it. I
Yeah,
watched that one. And then I really wanted to get into David Tennant and I didn't. So we just don't have a lot of time
we don't. We
for
don't.
TV shows. Like I'm still trying to catch up on Star Wars Rebels, even though him and Chase from JKR they talk about Star Wars
Oh
whenever
yeah,
you get to meet up with
that's a
him.
big one for me. I am a
So
ridiculously big Star Wars fan. I have been ever since I was a kid. Like really, really big Star Wars fan. Really, really big. Yeah, Chase and I nerd out every time I see him at Tinley. We've been starting to talk Star Wars stuff. So yeah, him and I nerd out about Star Wars at Tinley instead of talking reptiles because
yes,
everybody's talking reptiles there. Nobody's talking Star Wars, so might as well talk Star Wars with him and talk reptiles with everybody else. Other hobbies. Geez. I mentioned a whole bunch. I condensed nerdy stuff, but nerdy stuff is a lot of different nerdy stuff between video games, board games, tabletop games, D&D. I condensed that down tremendously.
hmm
I used to play Magic the Gathering, the card game, oh so long ago. Oh yeah,
oh,
behind.
we are behind on the whole Marvel universe. I think we watched, we've seen all the Iron Men. We really liked the Iron Men. Um, Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Iron Man, the Iron Men when you're plural.
Iron Man movies.
Yeah. So we watched all of them. We we together saw the first Thor, and then I fell asleep during the second
Yeah,
Thor,
I've
and we
seen the
watched it at a
second
friend's
Thor.
house
Yeah.
because I just didn't get into that. And only the first Avengers. We did watch Guardians of the Galaxy, both of them.
Both
They were actually
Guardians.
really
Yeah.
good. But other than that, I I haven't. Everybody raved over Black Panther at work, at my
I
job,
haven't seen it
and
yet.
haven't seen
We
that.
haven't seen a lot. We haven't seen Black Panther. We haven't seen Doctor Strange. We haven't seen any of the Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the newest Thor. We haven't even seen Infinity War yet. So we're way, way behind.
Yeah. And there was, I want to say there was way too many spoilers for Endgame, but really, I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So they weren't really spoilers to me. It's like the whole Game of Thrones thing. We watched season 1 and 2 back when they were actually season 1 and 2. And, I wanted to read the books before we watched the rest of them. But then I was told, well, you don't have to worry about that because they kind of don't really stay consistent. And then we just stopped. And now there's so many spoilers and now, well, now it's over, but any spoilers, and I'm like, I have no idea who even half those people are.
Yeah.
So it really, in a way, I feel like being so far behind, you really aren't getting spoilers.
No. Black Panther's good.
Okay,
Everybody
good.
says that they're good. We'll get there. We'll get there. We have a date in our calendar to be able to
Right.
sit and watch the movies and try to catch up. We literally had to put a day in our calendar to watch movies.
Well, it's
Um,
a day that I get oral surgery.
yeah.
So
We
so,
we
so
we are big comic book fans. We used to read comics. We used to go do a
you
weekly
get a weekly
comic
pickup.
pickup
Yep.
at our local comic shop and read comics and just don't have time for it anymore. But we have both of us have a pretty decent little comic collection. I read
Mm-hmm.
comics as a kid and then we started again
Mm-hmm.
a couple years ago. That was fun. How's the quality of the stream? Audio, video? We don't see it from your guys' side, so I'm assuming it looks okay. So never got into Game of Thrones, and
I'm
because
glad you never got into
so I
it.
liked Game of Thrones. I like fantasy stuff. If you can't tell from all the nerdy stuff, and Star Wars, which is sci-fi-ish. But anyway, I like fantasy. I've always been big into dragons. In fact, my only tattoo that I have is of a dragon. So really like dragons. Dragons are my thing. And I really like the show, and I want to see the end, and I want to get all the seasons in. But I saw a funny meme online where somebody wrote, "I'm sorry that your dragon show ended stupidly," and I have to say that has got to be one of the funniest memes I've ever seen because it's kind of true. Your show was about dragons, and you're complaining that it ended stupidly. It's much the same as any other fantasy thing, and I think the exact same way. I love fantasy stuff, but when something ends dumb, it's like, yeah, your show's about elves and dragons and dwarves and magic, and you're mad that it ended not realistically.
I don't know if it's the realistic thing. I
No,
think,
but people that happens. Like that happens
yeah,
with stuff.
yeah. It's funny that you say that because I mean, I got
I'm laughing over here because I see
upset.
you shared that meme, and thank you for letting us know the audio and video quality is good.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
good. I can't really complain about people that get irritated about how things go because I threw the third Aragon book across the room when I read a couple things, and I have yet to read the fourth, despite Daryl's best efforts to get me to because it's one of his favorite series,
It is a really good
book
book series.
series.
Oh, it's another thing we do read books, not just comic books, but like regular books.
Hmm. Yeah, so I can't really get mad when things don't go my way.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
It's true.
So
Let me see
don't treat
how's
your
our
books like that. That's not.
just checking how the battery's doing on the camera. It's doing okay so
Mm.
far. Surprised. It's actually doing fairly well. Oh man, it's been a long day. It's been a long week, work week. I'm glad to have a 3-day weekend. Um, ah, love that series as well. Yes, Aragon is a
Oh,
phenomenal
yes.
series. Absolutely phenomenal. One of my favorites by far. By far. I've read all of them. Well, I say read. I've been switching to audiobooks because I have a pretty long drive to my regular everyday job. So I've read, listened to, whatever you want to say, all of them multiple times as well.
Hmm.
And yes, they're every time I read them, I pick up something that I never caught before too. So they're very in depth. I love his writing style. Um, we got what's the new book just came out? It's like slight um, continuation of the story. I've heard.
I
I
think it's
haven't
a
had
jet off of.
yeah, I
You
haven't
would
had a
think I
chance.
would know because I work for the publisher.
You would
So
think so.
you would think I'd know, but I don't work anywhere near like the actual books or editing or anything like that. I work in the finance, but that's all I know. I didn't even know it actually had already come out. We don't get those kind of notifications. So at my job, so I didn't even know it came out until that list that I sent to you.
Yeah,
That was a whole other thing. But um, so yeah, came
yeah.
out in December, and it's like an offshoot in Allegasia, I think.
Yeah,
So
I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I'm working through the Wheel of Time series because everybody rated it as like the best, one of, not if the, but one of the best fantasy series of all time. So I was like, you know what? All right, 14 books, I'm in, let's do it.
that's true.
And I've been listening to it, and I'm on book 8 of 14, so I'm over halfway through, so I'm dedicated now. I can't not read it. I'll check your comment here in a second. I see you trying to look over my
Sorry,
shoulder.
it's just
Um,
slate.
so I'm dedicated. I'm going to finish it, and I think it's an okay series, but I do not understand the hype that everybody gave the Wheel of Time series. I mean, it's good, but listen, Robert Jordan has like 7,000 characters that you in like 18 different places around his world that you're supposed to keep track of at the exact same time. That's too much. It's way too many people that I'm supposed to know the names of that are not anywhere near each other. Like they're spread out all over the world
I
in
have no
all
idea what's
different
going on.
places in like 70 different cities, and yeah, it's too much at one time. And then there's other series that we're reading. So oh geez, The King Killer Chronicles by what's his name?
Patrick
Thank
Rothfuss.
you.
Yes.
Where we, read the books and we're like, cool, we're ready for the next book. And then it's like 8 years and he hasn't written the third book in his trilogy, which is super annoying.
Again, an author that we have under the publisher, the publishing company that he goes through is my company, and we came out with a 10th anniversary cover special before this even has any kind of release date by any
Yeah.
means. And because again, he's one of our authors, I get notices when he does graphic novels and other things. So he's doing all kinds of other things, and I think people aren't too happy that he's not finishing it.
I see your comment now. Yeah, the book that he wrote, it's not. I don't think it's like a full story. It's like a shorter book, but it's like a continuation in Allegasia. I have not had a chance to listen to it yet because, and that's what I was getting to. I'm in the middle of the Wheel of Time series, so I am dedicated. I'm going to get through all 14 books before I read that book. So, actually, Christopher
Paulini,
Paolini is writing a sci-fi book too that I just want to read just because he wrote it, and I like Aragon so much.
I'm going to
What's
double
it
check what
called?
it was called: The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm.
Yes, The Fork, the
So
Witch, and the Worm. So that's the other. The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm is the other book that he just came out with that's in the Allegatia world.
yeah.
So I want to read that. I haven't had a chance yet. Um, yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I've got 8 more, or I guess six more
Huh.
Wheel of Time.
You beat us to it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. We see
You,
your comment, and you
eh,
probably put that before we said it on the video because of the delay.
yeah.
But yeah, we probably have. I have 6 more books before I get done Wheel of Time. So at my current rate of reading slash listening, that's 6 more months because I don't have a ton of time, and I basically just do it when I'm driving to work and back. So. And they're long books. They're like the audiobooks are like 30 plus hours each. Most of them are like 32 to 38 hours. So it's a lot of hours. A lot of hours.
Yes, I have a hard time. I don't have as long of a drive, and so, but I also have a hard time getting myself to actually listen to my books.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a
I
ton of
tend I tend to
audiobooks.
want to rock out in the car on the way to and from work. So,
All right.
and then we end up getting the same stuff. So like I downloaded Harry Potter. We have the series. I read Harry Potter like 30 times. When I was for Prisoner of Azkaban and Chambers, or I'm not Chambers, Sorcerer's Stone. I probably did read those like 30 times because they were quicker and they were my favorite books in the series. And I had to download them for whatever reason instead of actually reading something new. So
Oh, we've been running now for like about 45 minutes ish. I think that's about
Really?
how. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
So
wow. Okay. Oh
7:45
wow.
already.
Okay.
So um, we are probably going to soon get off here because we got to go check all those animals that we just got done feeding.
Oh
Make
yeah.
sure that
Yep.
everybody actually ate. You got anything else question wise before we call it an end? I know we're on quite the
Oh,
delay. So
Uper had a question. I'll
oh
look that up
yes.
real quick. He said he might not make it,
Yeah, of course
and
we're doing
so
it
just
like the end of the 45 minutes, so he probably will not get to it and actually see
that's
it.
okay.
But
Um, if I can even get there because
it was the first video where we talked about doing a live stream. Gosh, I don't
I think it was
even,
question for our audience.
maybe, I don't even remember when that was. Ah,
Not
heading
to.
dinner time. Yeah, I guess we should eat dinner. Up. Oh, if you hear background noise, that's we have an automatic mister on the poison dart frogs that's going off.
Oh,
Yeah,
real quick, that's one video I'd like to do is our setup because we really do nothing for them. They're very
very
like
very
very
simple.
main or not yeah, streamlined. It is
Mm.
extremely streamlined, and if anybody's interested, I'd like to show what we do because um
I'm glad.
oh jeez.
I'm glad you've enjoyed the live stream. You know, first one we'll probably do more of them. How often I don't know. We'll see what how this one does. Um, Time wise too, you know, I get up at like 5 a.m. for work, so doing it on a late in a Sunday is tough, but it's doable. Doable. See that we just like interestingly had three more people join the live stream. That was really weird. All of a sudden, like 45 minutes in. So maybe somebody else joined. We'll see. If so, maybe
If
we'll
anybody
keep it
says
going for a
anything,
couple
maybe we'll
minutes
yeah.
longer.
I can hold off eating for. I don't see it. I think this was the wrong video, and I feel really terrible now
Yeah,
because
I
Jason
wanted
asked
to.
a question,
He did, and I wanted
and
to
now I
answer it.
feel terrible.
And now I forget what it was. Totally forget what it was because it was so many weeks ago. He
Yes,
asked
it took
us.
us way too long to figure out this setup,
Yeah,
especially because it was like, well, can't do it. Everything we looked online, it was like, well, nope, you can't do it.
I didn't feel
And I'm
like buying a
like,
new camera to do it to do
well,
live
because we just
streams.
got this camera not too long ago, right?
Yeah,
Like a year
yeah.
ago? I don't know. I'm not that long.
All right.
But
Well, we're gonna call it a night. Thanks for joining us.
yes, thank you. I hope you
Appreciate it.
guys had a good long weekend. It's very sad that why we have to have a long weekend. But we're thankful
For everybody who,
that who has lost their lives.
yeah,
So try to remember that too, amongst trying to be with family and
and having barbecues.
yeah, even though that's fun and amazing and it's great that we can do that, in this country, just not that I'm trying to get, not either
Getting emotional right at
down
the
or
end.
emotional or
Ending on a
whatever, but
down.
no, it's not. It's, people they're very brave. Something I couldn't do
All right.
unless I was drafted, and I had to.
Thanks for our
But
troops.
yes,
Say that.
thank you.
All right. All right.
So,
Y'all take care.
yes,
See y'all
thank you again
later.
for joining us. We'll see you next time, guys.
All right. Bye, everybody.